Give thanks and praise to the mystic laws of the universe and its protective functions and forces in nature that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful, correct, and positive. Give thanks and praise. By our own free will, we choose to adhere to the universal law of nature, yeah, man, which is expressed naturally in its form. Because as it is, the word nature would be a noun, natural would be the adjective. So, as such, we say give thanks and praise, yeah, man, to the law or laws of nature, yeah, man. And another philosophical reasoning, because when we say philosophy, we really are talking about the love of wisdom. This is what we mean when we are chant our philosophy. This is our love of what I'm called wiseness. Yeah, man. So it's a philosophical reasoning from the Nestorian king. And what is reason? Reason, they say, is the capacity of consciously applying logic by drawing conclusions from new or existing information with the aim of seeking or ascertaining the truth. So this is why we not have a problem with reasoning nor logic. We not have a problem, man. Because for us, we would say reason is a spark of the divine. Yeah, man. And when we talk about universal laws, those are divine laws. Yeah, man. Which is expressed in its natural form through the laws of nature. And we can say there is quite a few different, you'd say, views on the topic of natural law. This is why I bring forward the law of nature, which would be the noun, nature, and natural law, which would be the adjective. The law of right and justice. Yeah, man. So the natural law will be a system of right and justice held to be common to all man and derived from nature rather than from the rule of a society or positive law. Hence, we adhere to the universal law of nature, where we are placed ourselves above any man-made rules, regulation, ordinance, codes, codification, guides as laws. Yeah, we call it corporate bylaws. And this is where we make our own distinction, where we have natural rights, which is rights derived from nature. And they have what is called legal rights, which are, it say, rights derived or not even derived, but bestowed onto a person by a given legal system or corporate body politic, which can be modified, repealed, and restrained by human laws. So the concept of positive law is related to the concept of legal rights. So this is why we choose to stay lawful, we choose to stay correct, opposed to legal. Because to be lawful, in our opinion, is to adhere to a universal principle, which is just that, common across the earth. And then we have what is known as a legal system, which is now, you'd say, become common across the earth. But we can trace the origin of this legal system back to its foundation, which we would call the old Roman law. Yeah, man. And this very old Roman law, which is the legal system of ancient Rome, including the legal developments spanning over thousands of years of jurisprudence, from the 12 tablets to the Corpus Juris Civilis, ordered by Eastern Roman Empire Justinian I. So you see, when we are talking about legality, we are being specific when we say this is a Roman system, an ancient Roman system. And the laws of the 12 tablet is the legislation that stood at the foundation of Roman law, formally promulgated in 449 BC. I guess that would say before Christ or before Christianity. The 12 tablet consolidates earlier traditions into an enduring set of laws. So people, I must say, we have a lot of things called laws out there. But my view is that the universal laws of nature, which is, either say, unwritten, do no harm. You know what I mean? And when you now do no harm, you naturally express love. Yeah, man. So we have this Roman legal system that is in place. Now, how do we rebut this ancient civil system? We have to do it with a much more ancient system, which is the universal order, the universal laws of nature, expressed naturally. Yeah, man. As natural law, because when we do a little bit of search, you're going to find the very same natural law has been expressed years ago. And it's a difference between this Roman law which is that legal process, legal system. So hence we have what is lawful and we have what is legal. What is lawful, you would say, I deal with natural rights. And what is legal would be dealing with legal rights, two separate and distinct things, just like law is separate and distinct from legal. So this is our basic breakdown and share with our common people right here today, where we would consider, or most would consider, the Sabbath day, the day of rest. For us, it's not necessarily rest, it's more the day of acquiring information, evaluating information, sharing information. So for us, we like to look at what is considered law. You know what I mean? And what law applies to whom or to what venue. The moment you're engaged in commerce, dealing with commercial laws, you're dealing with Roman system, Roman laws, legalities, irrespective of its form. But we who choose to adhere to a much higher standard and principle, we would more adhere to natural law, where we secure our natural rights, which are universal rights, which are fundamental rights, which are what they would say inalienable, inalienable rights. Now, people will easily, according to their exposure, view all of these legalities and policies as if it was law. There was a time when I talk about common law. Now we can look at common law as the body of law created by judges and similar quasi-judicial tribunals. Again, common law is a body of law created by judges and similar quasi-judicial tribunals by virtue of being stated in written opinions. So you have common law, aka judicial precedent, aka case law. It's one and the same people. So these are some clarity where we subtly have to bring forward. And it's clarity for our common people. Yeah, man, we won't concern ourselves with people when I really have this kind of concern. So this is for us, our common people. Yeah, man. Case law is based on precedent rather than laws based on constitution, statutes, or regulation. And we know legal practice is a civil law system which is intellectualized within the framework of Roman law and with core principles codified into a referable system where easily referred to, which serve as the primary source of law. And we know codification is the process of collecting and restating the law of a specific jurisdiction or venue in certain areas, usually by subject, forming a legal code, i.e., a codex or a book of law. We know substantive law is a set of law that governs how members of a society are to behave, in contrast with procedural law, which is a set of procedures for making, administering, and enforcing substantive law. And remember, substantive law define rights and responsibility in civil laws. So you see, when we are talking about Roman law, this Roman legal system, that is just one side of the coin. And on the next side of the coin, you have, the universal laws of nature. Yeah, man. Which is natural to the man. Unwritten law. So these are just some, simple points where we just look at just for our edification and clarification. Yeah, man. Statutory law or statute law are written laws passed by a body of legislation. I'm like call them corporate body politic. This is opposed to oral or customary laws or regulatory laws promulgated by the executive or common law of the judiciary. It's beautiful and interesting when you can look at the differences and the breakdown of these legalities, As it is, a government is a system or a group of people governing an organized community, generally known as a state. And we're going to look on natural rights and legal rights, where they must say natural rights are those that are not dependent on the laws or customs of any particular culture or government, and are so universal, fundamental, and inalienable they cannot be repealed by human laws, though one can forfeit their enjoyment through one's actions, such as by violating someone else's right. So it is said natural law is a law of natural rights. And then them say legal rights are those bestowed unto a person by a given legal system. Those legal rights can be modified, they can be repealed, and they can be restrained by human laws. Boy, may I tell you. So then the concept of positive law is related to the concept of legal rights. And when we are talking about natural rights now, which is universal, these are considered beyond the authority of any government or international body politic to, to dismiss. So we have to start get specific, we are express certain things. So when we are talk about we have rights, a man can ask a question, what kind of rights you have? Do you have natural inherent rights, or do you have legal rights bestowed upon you by some corporate body politic? Yeah, man. So these are just some basic, you know, ideas we look upon, basic information we look upon. Yeah, man. What is nature? The natural, physical, material world or universe. Yeah, man. Nature is a phenomenon of the physical, either say world as it is, or life in general. It is said that all human lives are sacred and of infinite value. Infinite value. All human lives are sacred and of infinite value compared to any created object. Yeah, man. So, all man, yeah, man, are fundamentally equal and bestowed with an intrinsic basic set of rights that no other man can remove. We have to stress upon law because we find out so we don't have access to law. You know what I mean? And according to how some systems are created or constructed, it's constructed on a legal perspective, in a legal form, where they can only exercise legislative jurisdiction, legalization of all things. That's why we say commerce. You know what I mean? So what is commerce? Yeah, man. To me, it seems to intertwine with the Roman law and the Roman legal system. It's one and the same. So it's just our view of looking at the law of nature, natural law, and some of these man-made common law, man-made law of the 12 tablets, man-made Roman law, man-made legal practice, man-made codification, man-made substantive law, man-made procedural laws. Yeah, man. So man-made statutory law or statute law. Yeah, man. So what man-made give you legal rights? And legal rights can be modified, repealed, and restrained by human laws. You get me? Yeah, man. But your inherent, universal, fundamental, natural rights are those that are not dependent on the laws or custom of any particular culture or government, and are so universal, fundamental, and inalienable. Remember again, they cannot be repealed by human laws, though one can forfeit their enjoyment through one's own action, such as by violating someone else's right. So that's the only way you really can, you just say going a dishonor is when you really violate somebody else's natural rights, really. However, we have been converted and commercialized to the point where our our whole existence seems to be a commercial enterprise. And there's always some entity out there that is profiting from our mere existence, from our, and I always said this kind of entity cannot be as I, man, cannot be human. It has to be non-human entity doing these things. Yeah, man. Psychopath. So we like to talk about laws because we choose to stay lawful, we choose to stay correct, we don't have a problem making any kind of amendment to whatever situation that occurs. And it's a step-by-step process. But I know it's never what most people saying it is, or, assuming it is, or, inferring that it is. So when you actually step inside it, then you will know for sure what it is. So everything is a step-by-step process. Yeah, man. And government, again, government is a system or group of people governing an organized community, generally known as a state. So we have to find clarity in our steps moving forward. And I don't think we're going to find too much clarity with the mainstream media, especially this venue, this area, YouTube. Too much distractions, too much misinformation, too much right people that is actually and factually wrong out there in this arena. So it's a step-by-step process. People have to just apply themselves and choose to qualify whatever information them find interest in. Hence, it's neither here nor there. It's a free will choice. Yeah, man. What law or laws are you governed by? You know what I mean? Are you governed by the Roman legal system, which bestowed legal rights upon its persons? Yeah, man, which can be modified. Or are you governed by the universal laws of nature, which are not dependent on the laws or custom of any particular culture or government? Which laws do you choose? Because it's a free will choice. Yeah, man. And we say give thanks and praise to the mystic laws, yeah, man, of the universe and its protective functions and forces in nature, of nature, that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful. Yeah, man. Not legal. Lawful pronoun. Lawful, noun. Legal, artificial. Two separate and distinct things. I always say what is legal is not necessarily lawful. So we like to talk about, law, universal law of nature. Yeah, man. Universal law and natural law. Natural law describe or define the universal law of nature. So I don't think nobody can manipulate these kind of information and say, hey, I'm making a claim and this is mine and only mine. And in order for you to access the universal laws of nature, you'll have to come through our. You get me? I am the gatekeeper. There's no such thing. It's all about free will. And any man can make any claim they choose because of that free will. So when smart people choose to manipulate or monopolize or monetize or personalize nature, then I think that would be considered out of order. Because nature is clearly all of us. We are a part of nature. It's just the choices where you choose. If you choose to adhere to nature's law, then that is your choice and your path. And if you choose to adhere to statutory law or common law or any other of these man-made laws, well, that is your free will choice. And all man have to respect the next man's, free will choice to choose. What we try to do is gain enough information so we can make an informed decision without any outside coercion. Most of the coercion usually lead us wrong most of the time. Why? Because most of you, we are trying to share and teach, lack experience, void that personal first-hand knowledge. And every situation is a bit different. Usually, most of the situation them is unique and then a pattern develop. So everybody's situation is not the same. So you have some people speak about things when are relevant, but cannot bring no solution, just compound problems. While other people find solution and speak of solution. So that is the difference. You have legal entities that I see out there, and you have lawful entities that's there. The legal entities are product or byproduct of the state. And the lawful entities are there, that those that you would say have attained the age of majority, or at least have separated themselves from the corporate state, put it that way. So all of these things are free will choice. But you will be distracted. Yeah, man, and that will be intentional. This is why it's called free will. Gratitude for this time. Gratitude for this moment. Happy Sabbath for all those who practice. Now, this is our quiet hour. This is our quiet channel. Yeah, man. And this is where we are at this moment. So, again, we said gratitude, complete gratitude, the universal law of nature. Yeah, man. And the expression of the natural law. Yeah, man. Step by step. The brave may fall but never yield. Bold and brave, firm and strong, are walk in their nation, in America. This specific society, this set apart society. The connection, our walk network. Salute.